All right, welcome back. We got ourselves a tier list for this Sunday. We had LGT last weekend. LVO is currently in its final day right now, so we've gotten to see how armies are doing in this new meta, and how they're interacting with each other. The only thing we don't know yet is what's coming with Drukari, but we do have some results to be able to look at them. But I'm here with Justin. We're gonna be talking through where we kind of think each army is landing in the meta right now.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting. Get to talk through where we think they're going to land and some potential winners and some not so great ones. So
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
and this is where we convince ourselves that things are better than they actually are. Some things that are really good may not be as good as we think sometimes. This is where we get to talk through all the crazy ideas. So let's get to it. Let's start with the Adeptus Sororitas. What are you thinking? Just off the jump, like where are you thinking they belong?
Ooh, that's actually that's an interesting one. I know it's either A or B for them.
A or
It's either
B?
top of B
Yeah,
or bottom of A. Really is also dependent on who is playing them, in my opinion. Because, yeah, I mean, are we just assuming this is a top player on Sisters? Is that how we're gonna do each
I
one?
think so. I think like
Okay.
I mean like we can think about it like yeah, at its peak, I guess, is the way we should be thinking about it. But also we need to take in consideration like what are people seeing on like most tables, you know? So like what is gonna be the average person's experience into this army versus like what it could be at the top level, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, I honestly, um, I think they're really strong if somebody knows what they're doing with them.
Yeah.
There are some counters for them, and I would probably, for now, put them at B, and then we can
Yeah.
move it around, see what happens in A, and possibly move it up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it is a really skill intensive army, and I think because of that, it can fall flat when you make a mistake, right? So, like Eldar, you're relying on sometimes holes and T3 bodies. And if you make a mistake with T3 bodies, you can just lose the game. It can just like cascade from there. I really rank like how good you are with Sororitas as how good are you with Morven Vol unit. You know, like that's really like, do you know how to play that unit extremely effectively? And can you pilot it like in ways that other people don't see coming? Like that's really to me the measure of what makes or breaks a sisters player.
Right.
But what kind of builds are you seeing with them then?
You have different options, right? I've seen some people bringing back the Exorcists and
Hmm.
running that at what was it, the Bringers of Flame.
Yeah, I
Then you're
mean,
seeing the Index one as well, which is really good, where characters can stand back up. You can make all the damage go into a particular unit, so your hammer unit can stay alive an extra turn. There's just a lot of play.
yeah,
Um, I'm seeing they're either running a shit ton of the Sacrosanct, or they're not
yep,
running any at all and putting the points into other things. So there's a lot of flexibility. You take Vol or do not take Vol. I mean, I think Vol's an auto take, but some
I
people
agree.
don't think so. Celestine is also a hot pick. So just a lot of flexibility there. The
Like,
Triumph,
yeah. And is that detachment, the index one, is that the one with the stratagem that forces you to fight a different unit? Is that the one?
yes, I believe. How I don't remember the exact wording, but I know that it's two of the sisters units are in combat. They pay a CP, might be two CP, but I think it's one. And all of your attacks have to go into the one unit.
That
So
is so good. And I think in
yeah,
this current meta, it might be even better. Like if I think about some of the other factions we're gonna be talking about. Um,
yes.
but my first crazy hot take is I really like the Grot Mist detachment for them now.
Yes, it's much better. I haven't looked at it as much, but
Yeah.
I've heard some things about it, and yeah,
But
they're in a really good spot, and it's just a lot of room for skill expression, like
yeah.
you said, and that's just a really good place to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. We can leave them there for now. Our next one is Adeptus Custodes.
Ooh, nice one. We know that Folger Piles won Worlds with them last year.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of success with them. Um, Not seeing too many people. go all the way these days. But to be
Mhm.
fair, there wasn't too many people
Doing
going
it
all the way when
before. Yeah.
Folger. So that's a weird army at the moment.
I think
I
for yeah.
yeah.
I think for me, I'm thinking more C tier. Um, I think that it's an army where you can scam with dice one way or another, right? Like you either make your 4-ups or you don't. I think the issue for me comes into you just don't have enough units. Like you just
I
don't have
I
enough
agree.
activations. The grav tanks are kind of needed for ranged anti-tank, but the second you pour points into them, they're dead weight in some matchups. You know?
I agree. And there's some hard counters. Armies like Emperor's Children, just
Hmm.
walk over them. Orcs as well, just run up on them. Even if they doesn't matter if they get to interrupt, they just pop fight on death and still take the unit with them, and they have a lot more units. That's the thing. How elite custodes is hurting them.
Yeah.
Um,
Just not enough activations. And if you make a mistake and you lose a brick, it's like a whole side craters in, right? I think we could see some guard custodian guard spam lists come up. Um, I think we're starting to see that because they got dropped in points, so you can take like 4 for 160 now. So I could see a list where you're taking 6 units of 4, but even then you're still relying on 4-ups, and they don't do as much as the wardens did.
yeah, and the problem there is anytime I see a list that's spamming guard, I get really happy because it's not wardens.
Yeah, if I don't have to deal with the feel no pain, I feel so much better. Like I'll take the double shoot. Like you're not going to see me anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good with them being like high C tier, I think. But we'll see where the other armies land. The next one, and this one is going to be interesting. We're talking about AdMech, and I already know where I want to put it, but I want to hear from an AdMech enjoyer such as yourself.
AdMech is going straight to the top of A, in my opinion. Whether it ends by the end of the list is still the top army is yet to be seen, but
Hmm.
AdMech is incredible at the moment. If you look, LVO going on right now. One guy is in the top cut with it. He's on Halo's Creed. I
Yeah,
think you can play almost any of the detachments, not all of them, but most of them with that change to call, giving them oath. I think you can play most of the detachments, which is really exciting for AdMech players. Um, what are your thoughts on it?
dude, the buffs are insane. I think that like this is one of the scariest armies to see across the table when you're going into a good pilot. Like there's so many different build options. The amount of infiltrate, scout that they have, they can just block up the board. And now that you're giving them real damage options, I can go behind that. I think makes it a very complete package. They have multiple phase activations that can be scary. So if it's not A, I honestly could see it in S tier when you're piloting the right way, and if the meta falls out in a way that favors them. I think they're incredibly good right now. I think the problem is people are lagging on their collection when it comes to AdMech. It's a wide range. It's very expensive, and it has changed drastically between like what used to be good in ninth and what's good now. So I don't know if people will be able to put out on the table exactly what we think is the best, like what optimization. But what do you think?
Yeah. I there's a couple things that keep me from putting it in S tier.
Hmm.
I do agree under the perfect circumstances, the army feels like it's S tier. Like if you're running the Skystalker build and you go first, the
Yeah.
army often feels like it's S tier.
Hmm.
But then when you go second, it runs much differently. Also, just the depth of the army. It's one of those armies that if you make one or two mistakes, it's very punishing.
Yeah.
So it's not like the more DACA
Hmm.
days where it's just point and click. You do have to play it properly to get the juice out of it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like Marines. Marines have Oath, but you can still lose the game. Oath is very good, but it's still just one unit that they're deleting.
Yeah.
They don't get the mass casualties, and they still hit on fours. They
Yeah.
get threes if they take the imperative. And like I said, there's a lot of jank there. If you do everything right, you get a lot more juice out of it. And there's a lot of options, a lot of traps as well when building lists. So you have to also build the list correctly.
Mm. Yeah. So we'll have to be thinking about like their matchups then, because I'm already thinking about another army that um is about to be released in their new book, and I think that army can be a problematic matchup. for AdMech. I'm talking about Drukhari. I think the new codex is giving a lot more speed um, to go out and touch all those units, and they can pick up those bricks. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I agree.
But
But yeah, for now, top of A,
yeah,
100%.
and let's go into Eldari. So this is a faction that people, I'm gonna put it in A for now. This is a faction that people have talked about as being like it's the best right now. And other people have spoken on it. Like I just don't see it in the same way. I play Eldari. I don't see like everyone screaming, "Oh, it's S tier." I think it's really good. It feels S tier to fire and fade 20 fire dragons when you're going to a night meta. I think that's for sure for certain in the Death Guard when they don't have a ton of units and you can activation lock them behind transports. But into the general field, I don't see what everyone else is seeing. What do you think?
The one I'm gonna have to disagree with you on. I 100%. I mean, I kind of agree that I don't know about S tier. They're fighting for that A spot with AdMech.
Yeah.
And this is strictly talking about with the top player.
Hmm.
Again, just like AdMech, it's you have to make a lot of good plays with them. If you are able to spot the plays with them, they're very, very hard to stop. The if you unit placement, fire and fading, knowing when to commit and push hard, it's an extremely good army.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. They're S tier into the right matchups, and then other matchups, it's honest 40k. Well, I wouldn't say honest 40k, but it's a lot. It's not an auto win for them.
No,
Armies
they
with a lot of indirect makes it very hard for them. Uh,
yeah.
so still fighting for that top spot of A. What do you think?
Yeah, there is. I think World Eaters is one of the worst matchups when you get to 50 or more berserkers, right? Like armies that are able to put out Space Marine bodies at that amount can be difficult for Eldar. That's actually a profile that they struggle into is like 2 wound, 3 up save. So you'll see people like the Magan Raw, that's his whole job in these lists, right? Because that's a profile that the list is actually lacking the ability to kill efficiently and a lot of. So, like when the Black Templar Crusader build was out, that was really hard counter into Eldar. I think Berserkers can be a hard counter for them. We'll see what some of the other builds look like from the Marine factions, but they don't feel great for Eldar. Um, but the plays are definitely there. Like I had just played Yanari like 3 weeks ago because I'm always trying to make Yanari work. But like I had such a fun play of like, okay, I'm gonna heroic the incarn, and then you killed another unit of mine, so now I'm gonna teleport and then activate it and like be able to take you off an objective with that. And he just like failed to kill anything. So like that's just like how it goes. Sometimes like the plays are there, but they still have to be executed, and you still kind of need that efficiency. And so if you're having it swing one way or the other, or you're misapplying your profiles into your target, it can crater very quickly. So we got to keep an eye out for what the meta is going to be looking like for them. I do like them. I'm wondering what other builds exist outside of Warhost and Aspect Host. I like the Avatar of Kane. I don't know if this is the meta for him, but he's coming down in points enough for me to be like, maybe it's time. But I mean, I like Eldar. I'm always gonna try and make. I'm always gonna play. I'm always gonna try and make Inari work because that's my favorite faction. So, but right now they don't feel super great. But
The Eldar player saying that they don't feel great right now when they're one of the best armies.
that's Eldar. We are spoiled. We want it. We
Yeah.
want. It's mostly the Yanari side for me, and that's why I haven't been on them as lately because I play Yanari and then it got like put in the dirt. So I want to see. I don't think GW is going to update the Yanari data sheets with the new Drukhari Codex, but if the Incubi go to Strength 5, like in the new Drukhari Codex, they will be, then Yanari starts to become a legitimate option again because Strength 5 makes a huge difference for that unit. Um, but let's keep it moving here. So we did Eldari. Now let's talk about Astra Militarum.
That's
Um,
a interesting one.
yeah, for sure. They currently have someone in the top 8. Wesley, he's playing Recon Guard. He's playing all the Rough Riders and as many guardsmen as you can see on a table. And he's playing that, and he's undefeated at LVO. But I'm not seeing a lot of variance in their lists either, though. I mean, or there's like a lot of variance, but there's not a lot of them showing up at the top. What do you think?
Yeah, outside of very specific cases like Wesley, who's doing extremely well. I think he's one of the top players in the world right now as
Oh
far
yeah.
as ELO is concerned, and I think he's pretty high up on ITC too. Um, he makes that look easy,
Hmm.
but for a lot of other guard players, it's not the same.
No.
Not the same thing. If we were just basing it off of Wesley, it would be A tier. But that's not the case here. If everyone could, that the problem there is like Wesley's list takes a lot of reps to get to where he's at. You
Yeah.
have to also be a good player, so not everyone can pilot it there. Um, that said, guard is still very strong. I think.
Hmm.
I think my gut says top of B, bottom of A. Maybe not top of B, second slot B, but very on the edge of being A tier.
Yeah.
I tend to look at guard where I see guard armies and I'm like, I could build a good list when I look at the stuff they have access to. I often find myself just kind of messing around with guard lists, even though I don't play guard, just because it looks like a fun army. It looks like a lot of options. But like I said, I would say probably around top of B. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know about top of B. I think they're firmly B for me. I think the issue comes in like the composition of a lot of lists just for me don't do it. I feel like it takes a lot of refining who you are as a player to figure out what you're good with and what detachment to use for them. I just don't think I've seen a lot of that yet, and it's just really straight up honest 40K, you know, like outside of like the orders, but you can plan for those. But like it's just like we're gonna move up and we're gonna shoot you, and
Yep.
that play pattern for me just doesn't quite do it. So like personally, I think I put them below sisters right now. Do I actually? No, I probably put them above sisters.
I could get on board with that. I would not disagree either direction.
Mhm,
To be honest, if we're going straight off of results, I haven't looked at the win rate of both armies at the
mhm.
moment. Um, but either you can just put it below the sisters for now, and then we'll come back to it
Okay.
and see if we still like that later.
Yeah. So our next one, we're gonna start getting into some of the Marine factions. We have Black Templars. And when we say Black Templars, we just mean the units within any detachment. So what are you thinking?
Black Templars, I think, are really good. I actually really like them.
Yeah.
If you look at LGT, I think it was David Gaylord.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
went
eighth place.
eighth place.
Yeah.
I can't pull up his list at the moment, but I imagine it was something of 3 units of Sword
Sword
Brethren
Brethren
and
with the characters, and there's probably repulsor
Repex.
executioners.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that Gladius list is really good. I think it's got a
Yeah.
lot of play. I think it has the range. It has the killing in combat is insane. Like you will
Yes.
overkill things in just like ungodly ways with those sword brethren units. Um,
Yes.
like the access and flexibility to those gladius strats, enhancements, and like the doctrines, I think push it up another tier versus
Yes.
like the Black Templar detachments. I think it's incredibly solid.
I definitely think it's A tier. I think it's going to end up by the end of it, the middle of A tier somewhere. Uh, Either lower eight, like not quite the bottom of A,
Yeah,
but lower end of the middle probably is where I would guess they would end up. But they're definitely for now just going to the A tier. Going to be below Admech and Eldari, I
Eldari. Yeah,
believe.
I think so. I think it's really good. It's a really good like fundamental army. You know, there's some like
Yes.
tricks in there with the reactive move and the fight on death and the knowing when to pop what doctrine. Um, but a lot of the time it's just like, how far do you guys move out of a transport? Okay, and you don't fly. All right, like that can be the play experience. So
Yeah.
I think that can trip them up.
Yeah. The rep X's help there because they can reach out and grab you.
Yeah.
Um, the combined arms approach is just really solid with them. The rep X's getting full rerolls is
Yeah.
really strong, and that's something they need is a long range that says you can't just disrespect me.
Yes.
And they have that. So
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
so let's talk about their cousin, the another fighty space marine, but these ones they fly now. We have Blood Angels. I'm really high on Blood
Um,
Angels, and I know you just played them down in Warzone. What's your opinion on them?
Blood Angels are really strong. I just won a major with them.
Yeah.
Like you said, Warzone. Almost took down another major, which was War Games Con. I had one loss,
Hmm.
and that just really solid. I think they end up similar to where Black Templars do. I
Yeah.
personally think they're better.
I'm fine with putting
Because
them higher. I think that they have more tricks. Um, I think
yeah,
that they have multiple detachments you can run them in versus Black Templars. I really only respect in the Gladius. Um,
yeah. I think Blood Angels have two like prominent builds right now, which is Angelic Inheritors
yeah,
and Liberator.
yeah,
I'm sure you could run them, make an argument for like Gladius, but you're just not really seeing it right now, or Stormlance. You're just not really seeing them. They're just faster is the problem. They
yes,
have Oath, so they at least one of their shooting platforms against one target, they'll get three rolls.
hmm,
Um, the speed with Liberator having to fight first is a big deal.
yes,
Um, they just have a lot of the same tricks as Black Templars, but they're faster, which
yeah,
is a big deal. Speed wins games, as we know. So I would put them right above Black Templar, but they're not laughably above them. Black Templar can definitely pull out a win there.
yeah,
Um, but I do favor Blood Angels at the moment.
yeah. I agree with you. Um, I like Blood Angels. I think they're an interesting spot. I think the changes with the Sanguinary Guard are going to be really interesting to follow because now they don't really need a character. Um, and like three man seem a little bit more attractive. So I think we could see a little bit more variance coming out of the data slate for them.
I agree.
Now let's get into Chaos Demons. They're interesting right now because there's so many different builds. Like we know greater demon spam has just been the continual thing. We've
Yeah,
seen,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen people like have great success with Shadow Legion too, although I think that's kind of fallen off a little bit. What are you thinking? What you got?
C tier for demons,
C
to
tier?
be completely honest. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I'm with you.
that too many people are bringing in all the anti-tank guns. Yes, they have Bellacore, but they still have to come play the game. And against a top player who just knows the demon tricks and knows how to play around them, um, there are a few people who can take demons and go really far, like Kevin Leonard with
Yeah,
Tundra, Nanavati. There's some demon players that really know how to handle them and they can get better results. We've just seen that. But for the majority of the board, it just is a struggle.
yeah.
So
I think that people got to go to the specific god detachments to find some real play, like Scintillating Legion or the Blood Legion, to see if they mesh with those because I don't think big demons are it right now. Like if we look at this A tier, like does any one of these armies have any issue picking up any of those demons? Like
no.
no, not at all. Like that's and that's the issue. Like those all like can just like Gua with with the Pain. Yeah, I just have to devote like 2 units and you're dead.
Yeah.
Like
And even if like he survives a turn, he's dead next turn, and then the demons are out of durable units that can take the punch. So
yeah,
um,
yeah. So and their output isn't the best. So they kind of rely on just I'm big and roll 4 up saves and I'm just going to be close to you. So
yeah.
I don't think that's going to cut it in this meta right now. So I'm keeping my eye out for any innovation there. But let's get into our big stompy robots now. We're talking about Chaos Knights. There's a Chaos Knights in the top 8 um was it LVO right now. So they're obviously doing pretty well. What are you thinking about them?
I actually like Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put them above Sisters. They're a weird one because they kind of have to get the right pairings. Like they run into the wrong army, like Eldar
Yeah.
or Tau
Hmm.
or anything that just has access to, fuck you amount of anti tank.
Yeah.
And they just go down real quick. Ben Urich is a really good player. He's in the top cut. I take that into account that he's in the top cut, but some of the nerfs that happen, they're still really good. We know that. Um, so they're to me, they're definitely A or B. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm more B tier. I don't think I can put any knight on A tier unless it's a knight meta, and that's the thing. They're a gatekeeper army most of the time. Like we've seen good players like take them far in times where they're not in a knight meta. Like Ben's playing them right now, LVO. Like Brian Jones has played Imperial Knights like throughout this edition at times when they weren't good, and he was playing them and he was doing well, right? So we know players can like perform with it given the right circumstances, the build, familiarity, right? Um, but when they hit a bad matchup, it compounds for them. It just doesn't happen. So yeah, I'm fine. I would maybe think about putting them above sisters, personally, just because I think there's also builds there that people aren't exploring. I really like the War Dog detachment a lot. I think people are just sick and tired of playing War Dogs though. So
Yeah, I did. I would agree with that. Probably above sisters is fine.
okay. So we got them there. All right, now we have another Chaos faction, Chaos Space Marines.
Ooh, yeah, they as we saw just won LGT with
Yep.
Liam Viasol, but that's also Liam Viasol, so it's hard to just
And with
say
like the
they're in a top
same
spot.
list too from last year.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
like you hand that to 9 out of 10 other people, and that's a 4-2, 5-1 faction.
yeah,
But hand it to him, and it goes all the way. So it's really hard to rate them. They're another one that's definitely not in a bad spot.
no.
They can go toe to toe with some of the top armies is something to consider though.
Yeah, I think I put them at top of B personally. Um, I think it depends on their build. I think that it depends on like the amount of units they have. Like it's a razor's edge, because like you've seen CSM builds with like Vindicators and Forge Fiends, and then now they don't have much else besides that, right? I really like the Warp Talons that Liam played with. I think not enough people are playing with them. Um,
Yeah. Warp Talons are just an auto take to me when I'm building a CSM list, but a lot
yeah,
of people don't like them, and I do not understand why.
yeah. And I think there's interesting things too that are unexplored. Like I've never seen anyone play with their new detachment. That was the one based around like Demon Princes and Psychers. Like you can get Forge Fiends at strength 11. So I was like, I don't know why people aren't playing this because that seems really good to have a strength 11 Forge Fiend shooting or have like +1 strength to all your melee, advanced and charge access. Like there's for a few terms and conditions there, but I think people are just sticking with pack bound and what they know versus like trying to like actually try and play the game like Liam does.
Exactly.
So,
I actually really agree with Liam on that choice. The reactive move is a hell of a drug.
oh, it's so good and
Um,
just like flat six,
Yep,
like
and, Oath of Moment, just really good attachment.
yeah, it's really good. I mean, that's why like said something about the Wardog attachment for Chaos Knights. They have a 6-inch reactive move as well, and then a
Yeah,
fight on death, fight or a shoot on death. Like those are like really cool features to have.
yeah,
Um,
I think, any army that has access to flat 6 reactive move, it is an upgrade to the army. Like,
yep.
if you look at Folger at Worlds, his Custodes went so far because he was playing the detachment with the flat 6 reactive move,
Oh yeah,
which
it's
is
so good.
yeah.
Um, okay, now we have Dark Angels.
Um, yeah, I think you have some experience. You played them at, uh
Yeah, that was my loss. Was forgetting about the Wrath of the Rock charge stratagem. I was just like, oh, I lose now.
Yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, I get to like keep a unit of metamorphs and hold an objective a turn more. Thinking I was like
yeah.
body blocking them, but that was one of those things too. I had never played against that, so I don't know. Like that's not a sustainable thing. I think I put them in C tier. I think
Yeah.
this is like you play them for two data sheets at this point, like the Deathwing Knights and possibly the Lion. I know Kit has a build with the speeders. Um,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Um,
Uh,
so
yeah.
I mean I could be persuaded for B. What are you thinking about them?
No, I agree. Like if we're talking about the typical, not Kit's build, but the typical Dark Angel list, which is taking all of the Deathwing Knights, taking the Lion. Um, there's just so many better options right now for other chapters that it just makes it, and you're paying more for, not that much better. Like,
Yeah,
yes, Deathwing Knights are a little bit more tankier. Lion has some tricks, but a good player knows how to play around that.
yeah,
Like I'm just going to look at that and say you're not going anywhere with those units. I'm just going to jail them turn
yeah,
after turn, and by the time you get to use them, it doesn't matter.
yeah. I mean, like you can focus fire and kill one unit, and just like screen the other ones. So I'm not super high on them. I don't think I've seen them a lot. I think people have pivoted to other places in Space Marines. And we'll talk about that more when we get to Space Marines themselves. But our next one up is Death Guard.
Um, A tier,
Yeah, for sure. They're still really good.
yeah, they're not top of A anymore. But I would probably at the moment put them under Admech and Eldar.
Yeah,
Um, They just have some good options. They're kind of side by side with Blood Angels. Blood Angels can definitely beat Death Guard.
yeah,
As you saw, I played against Death Guard.
hmm
But if they all of a sudden they show up with the Fight First attachment, what was it? Champions,
yeah,
I believe. Champions of Contagion, I think it's called.
hmm
With just a strat to pop Fight First, that makes it very hard for Blood Angels. So it's kind of a toss up. But yeah, for now, I'd put them below Admech and Eldari. What do you think?
yeah. I'm with you. I mean, they're still really good. I think people are starting to experiment with builds because if you are just someone who says I take three plague drones, I take three death shrouds, like you are someone who's actively bringing your death guard back to real life, because when you only have like 8 units and they don't move fast, that's a easy way to lose 40K, right? So I'm excited to see them like actually build lists, use plague marines. Most of all, like plague marines are so good and people just haven't been playing with them.
Yeah.
So I still think they're super solid.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, next up we have Death Watch.
Oh, Death
Is
Watch.
this a D tier? Is this our first D tier, or are they C? Or
I
D
think they're
plus?
C. I think they're C. They're good. They're not insanely good. They're they're okay to me. I would say not good. Yeah, I'd say C tier. They have potential to do good.
hmm
Just so many things can go wrong with Death Watch. There's just too many loss conditions to me to put it anywhere above that. We have seen some good results, like what was it, Mark Hurdle
Yeah.
won LVO last year with them. It's the same army as then. Just the meta has kind of changed to
Yep.
now it's like I can kill, you know, veteran teams. So
Yeah. And I don't think they like Knights or Death Guard. So I think that's been a huge struggle for them. And those armies will continue to give them trouble even after the changes they've seen. Um, there's not really good solutions for Death Watch there a lot of the time.
yeah,
Um,
I'd put them below Dark Angels probably.
yeah, above Custodes, you think?
I mean, hmm.
I think I
Yeah,
would
I'd
rather
probably
have
put them.
Custodes.
You'd rather have
I
Custodes?
think I'd rather
Yeah, we
have
can put
Custodes.
them. We can put them below Custodes.
Um, cool. And then now we have Drukari, and let's talk about them in context to like the rules we know they're getting. Like we know they're where they probably sit now, but if we're thinking about the new book, I'm trying to think about where it could land here.
I mean, it's hard to tell without matches. My gut tells me A, bottom
hmm
of A for now. I think they have the potential to be really good.
Yeah,
We don't have enough data, so that might change next time we do a tier list. But
yeah.
for now, what are your thoughts from what you've seen?
Um, I've been playing a lot of Spectacle of Strife, and it's really good. like charging after your opponent's entire move phase is just broken. There's no way around it. Like you have to play around so much. And I think people will figure that out. I've seen it in my games, like as I work through like playing with friends. Like we talk through like, okay, here's the options, like where I could charge, things like that. So we're talking it through. It's not like a full gotcha. But I'm wondering how that's going to show up in tournaments. I don't know if that's going to be the detachment that even gets the most use. I think Reaper's Wager looks really good right now. The idea of advanced and charging, Reavers 24 inches across the board um, is pretty good, especially when they have heat lances and rerolling to hit. The damage in the book, I think, got upgraded with the new rules. And to see Scary in top cut, to see Sacco playing in the finals, like at LGT, like the army even now is performing extremely well in the hands of top players, and I think it's only going to get better. Uh,
Yeah,
like
it may be further up A. I definitely think it's A.
I think
And
so
the only
too.
reason I say bottom of A is lack of data.
Yeah.
Um, so putting it in A, basically saying like we identify that is a very good army
Hmm.
and could potentially be a top army.
Yeah.
But for now, without the data, I would say A, just off of raw data sheets and abilities.
Yeah.
What you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. Um. Okay. The next one we don't even have an icon for. I thought this had all the icons, but we're missing Emperor's Children because I definitely would
Oh,
put it in Emperor's Children in A.
yeah. Emperor's Children is a weird one because they can just plow through people. They struggle into knights, chaos knights, and imperial knights.
Yeah.
They struggle into like whole spam, but anything that has mass infantry, they laugh and say, "I can kill any infantry unit in the game."
Yeah.
Um, Definitely A tier. What do you think? Above Blood Angels or
Um,
below it?
I think above. I think they have a lot of mobility. I think the Demon Princes like are legitimately tough to deal with, being the -1 damage, 2 up save with AOC. Um, so I think that can create issues. And I think that the nerfs to Chaos Knights and Knights, when it comes to points and rules, I think that helps them immensely. To the point where they can maybe play around it. We're seeing Mauler Fiends in lists. Like there's thought process there for how to handle it. Um, so I do think that they have some game into it. I think I'd put them just below Death Guard.
Okay. Yeah, I'm totally cool with that.
Okay. Our next up is Gene Stealer Colts.
So
Mhm.
we know Host got hit.
Yes.
What are your thoughts for the other options?
I think Final Day is still really good. I was looking at lists for LVO. The top finishing GSC was like 25th place with Biosanctic. And that's a detachment I really like, so I'm interested to try that list out and see how it does. Um, I think it has some tough matchups. Like I don't know what Biosanctic does in it for its children. Like all of the damage is damage two outside of an abominate. And I
Did
guess
he
the Gene
take
Stealers. Hmm.
did he take Biosanctic or Final Day?
He took Biosanctic, the guy who finished
Oh,
in 25th. Yeah, he took Biosanctic. It was like 15 aberrants, a 10-man Pierce Strain, a 5-man Pierce Strain, three or two Rock Grinders, some Metamorphs, like, and a bunch of characters. So I like the list, but it has an issue with like transports, but it's still an army that like you can be able to really want to go first, and I value that really highly. Where if you have a go first army in a game that rewards going second, it helps you balance out a little bit of your scoring.
yeah. Where were you thinking on that one? You're
I
the
mhm.
no, I was saying you're the GSC expert. Where do you think?
I probably think they land right here below Chaos Knights. I think they're a solid B tier. I don't think anyone's gonna be lighting it up with them anytime soon. I definitely have ideas for what I want to do in Final Day and try that out. And even when I was playing to Drakari, or I'm playing Drakari right now, and then playing in the Emperor's Children with my Drakari, I was like, man, I think Final Day would have a really good play into this Emperor's Children list. I think they have a lot of options there. I think the meta may be in a good spot for like a really killy Final Day list. But we'll see. I mean, Host still has legs too. It's just going to be very different than what we've seen.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree with that.
yeah. Alrighty. So after Gene Stealer Colts, we have Gray Knights.
Hmm.
And you're not playing three Redeemers anymore, but where would you put them?
Now I'd put them in A probably.
In
I
A?
keep seeing good results with them. Um, they do have good options for builds. Still a very solid army. They can go toe to toe with some of the top armies. There's a guy in the top 8 of LVO
Mm,
playing with them. I think he's playing against Folger right now. Um, very solid army. I don't think that they're like broken. Um, don't think they're the best army in the game, but they go toe to toe with the best armies.
yeah,
What are your thoughts?
I agree with you. I mean, they have output in multiple phases. Like, their issue is always just killing big stuff. Um, and I think they have some tools now, especially in Warpbane with the rerolls to be able to do that. Um, I know you have I've seen the Storm Raven come into play with him in that detachment. And as we both know, that winged monstrosity can just be a nightmare. Um, so yeah, I'm fine with where they're at. I think I put them just below Black Templars.
Yeah.
Um, but I think they're definitely A tier. But I do think we found our first D tier. You feel free to disagree with me, but Imperial Agents.
Yeah, they're just the basic never get buffs, never get nerfed.
Yep, they're not real.
Um, yep, they're there to take them as allies
This
whenever you
is
want. And yeah.
Yeah, this is Codex, Watchmaster Artemis, and Calexis Assassin. That's what it is.
Yep, you high five the one guy that brought them to a super major. Talk for a moment about how brave he is, and move on.
Yep.
Just
And
the vanilla.
yes. And then we have Imperial Knights,
We put them right next to.
Chaos Knights. I put them over,
I
I think.
yeah. No, I kind of disagree. I think they're worse.
You think so? I mean, again, I'm the armature detachment is something I want to see played, but no one's playing it yet.
Yeah, I think that they're. Where did we put Chaos Knights and
Top
B?
of B tier, below Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, I actually think C tier for
Imperial
Imperial
Knights.
Knights.
You think
I
so?
That's how I feel. If not bottom of B,
Yeah,
this
we can
could
do
be a
bottom of B.
controversial thing.
So what's the
Um,
difference for you between Imperial and Chaos that makes you rate them so much lower?
um, so Chaos Knights have access to some good stuff. Like look at Ben Urich's list. He has the despoilers,
Yeah.
just shoot God, Rodigus. I really like his list. I think Chaos Knights still have like access to some really good juice. Imperial Knights do too. Their builds are much different.
Hmm.
Um, Now I could be wrong about that thought, but like I played into Imperial Knights at a major,
Yeah.
and it felt like I just ran through them. Like they just are on the edge of just not having enough stuff.
Yeah.
And the nerfs really hurt them. I could be wrong. They could be farther up B, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I think that if you're looking at Valor Strike, then yeah, I see what you're saying. When it comes to like the nerfs, but for me, I think I liked the Questor's Companion detachment. Um, and the armature one, I think is really good just for the ability to like -1 damage on three of them, get like sustained, ignore cover on three Helverins, right? Like, I think there's something there for that. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen it played yet. And the Questor's Companions, I don't even know if it's that good really. I just like the idea of a 9-inch consolidating gallant. Um, Seems really fun to me. Like
Yeah,
that's about where I am with it.
yeah.
Um,
I actually think I actually like them, as you know. I
Yeah.
like Imperial Knights. We've talked about it quite a bit. I think that I think honestly, I could go far with them
Yeah.
making a list. So yeah, they probably do go for it. You made the argument. Put them. What do you think of above or below Chaos Knights?
I'll respect your opinion here. We'll put them below Chaos Knights, above GSC.
Okay,
Um, that
I'll
makes
have
sense to me.
to test it out one of these days and take them to an event and see how they do. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll give it a try. I was so close to actually making an army, but I've decided against it. I was like, oh, do
sure.
I really need another? And then it's like when you change the army, it's like, well, now I have to go buy a big knight. Like, damn. Like
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
big investment there. Um
sure, Dom. Sure, Dom. Sure, sure, sure. You were gonna build those,
Yeah, you know me. That's my style, right?
yeah,
Big
eight
anvil
models.
units. Yeah, that's me. Um, okay, so we did that. Let's go and do Leagues of Votan. So they do have their new codex out. The one strat got nerfed on release, as it should. Um, but it seems like they're still interesting. It seems like there's still play there. They're just not getting a lot of love at the top from players.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're A tier. To be clear, I think they're definitely A tier.
Hmm.
I played them in the finals of that major Warzone
Yeah,
against Thomas
Thomas.
Greer.
Yeah,
Love him. Shout out Thomas. I think that they have access to some great rules. That sustained, what is it, sustained two in that one
yes.
detachment. Mixed comboed with conversion weapons is nasty. Could kill almost anything in the game. Um, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have enough knowledge to like really know. I haven't played against the new ones yet. Um, but they do have a lot of tools there. I think the berserkers are really interesting with the four feel no pain, but being just one wound models is kind of tough. So I'm interested to see as people like the meta kind of flattens out a little bit and see what people are really bringing for Votan. But I'm fine putting them up there. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, we'll do similar to like Drakari since
Hmm.
they're kind of still babies to the meta, still learning the data.
Yeah.
Probably put them above Drakari for now, since Drakari
Oh, for
has even
sure.
less data. I think Drakari just ends up staying bottom of A since we just don't have the data.
I think so. I think it'll
Yeah.
stay there. Plans to move it up. But I think we have another A tier player here. I think these are gonna end up there. We have the Necrons.
Yeah. They got an interesting side grade with the king,
Yes.
getting losing ignore mods but gaining an aura +2 move.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's better for them in the meta right now. I don't know about you. Um,
Interesting, yeah. Like in certain matchups, like against like Votan, for example, who get like army-wide transhuman, it would have been nice to ignore the
mhm,
-1 to wound. But yeah, I think it's still a buff. However you look at it, it's still something that helps the army.
yeah,
Especially for an army that if you're running warriors, makes them faster. As you know, I love my warriors in my race. I agree, A tier, because it's still at the end of the day, race are still incredible units. The Warriors, I know Walter Langendorf disagrees with me. He hates the Warriors. I love them. It's kind of a pick your poison. You can do mass MSU with them, or you can do big blobs. I think both options are good.
yeah,
A lot of room for skill expression.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I'd probably put them below Blood Angels and Black Templars,
I was thinking the
because not
same thing.
everyone.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I like where Necrons are at. I think they do have questions about damage. I do think that the Wraiths and the Warriors are things you should include because, like, where Warriors could be bad in a matchup, that's what you have the Wraiths for. If the Wraiths are bad, you have the Warriors, right? Like, you have the option to say, I still have these two Anvil units, and they'll flex into any of these matchups as needed. I do think it's a question of like how you use the points around them to support them and like do the killing jobs, right?
Yeah, like, DDAs are a
Yeah.
big job there.
Yes, for sure. So it ends up coming down to those casino cannons for them. Um, but yeah, I think they're pretty good right now just because they have a resiliency that not a lot of factions have. So they can just be a hard counter. Like I know Eldar has a really tough time because they just cannot pick up the 20 warriors. Um, they'll struggle with that. Like the rates are a little bit easier when you're talking about like the fire dragons. But even then it can you can get scammed.
Yep, I agree with that.
All right, let's move into the next one. We got orcs.
Yeah, baby. My
So
green skin boys, they're going A tier in my opinion.
yeah, I agree. I think they're really high up there. I think they have a lot of tools. I think there's multiple attachments that they're interested in. I'm really excited to see people play around with them, and we'll see if anyone's brave enough to go away from Warhorde.
Yeah, I think you can take Warhorde. I think you can even take Mordaka. I think there's builds for that.
I was just saying, I think
Yeah,
Mordaka, Tactical Brigade or yeah, both look interesting. Warhorde is
yeah,
just the default. I think the Big Hunt has game
yes.
right now. Like, I would even look at Speed Freaks because the bikes got cheaper. Um,
Speed Freaks. There's some interesting builds that are anti Eldar with
yeah,
Speed Freaks. So I think they go below Black Templars and Blood Angels.
yep, already got them there.
Um, yeah, I think that they're just really solid. They can play into the top armies. The only reason I put them there is the lack of guns,
Yeah,
where the other ones have some really solid melee punch, but also have guns to back them up. So, I mean, orcs have, like flash kits and tank
just
bustas,
yeah,
but those aren't real unless you're in tactical brigade. They're more midboard pieces.
yeah,
Flash kits are actually really good they'll kill a chaff unit, and then they're actually better than people think in melee. I think they
they are.
50 attacks for a big 10 man. Um,
Yeah, I think
so yeah,
yeah, I think that's spot on. I think they still kind of have a death guard problem, like that when they run into them and there's a minus to your save or a minus to hit, it becomes an issue. Um,
yeah. I think that the Gazgul change helped a lot.
oh yeah,
I think they have a lot more to play than they had before, but it's still a tough matchup.
yeah, you could have Gazgul and 20 boys and more Daka in the Wa every single turn. You
Yeah,
know, like
exactly,
that's something that can happen, and that is just a death ball. Um,
exactly.
and then also we didn't even talk about Green Tide. I think Green Tide's also interesting now too. Like now they can go with 20 boys.
Yeah,
And the support character.
yeah,
I don't think it's as good as the other ones we talked about. Maybe Speed Freaks, but I think
yeah.
Warhorde just is so solid for the damage. I think the strats are good. Like the auto fight on death is something that that faction really wants to have.
Yeah, they're just the gas unit runs in, charges 3 different units, kills 3 different units, tags another unit,
Yeah,
pops -1 to be wounded, just takes it to the face. Their turn, they shoot, kill a lot of the unit, charge, you pop bite on death, kill another unit, and by the time they drag that unit down, you've killed 4 to 5 units, and it's
yeah,
one that's all like perfect case scenario, right? Like
yeah,
that's what the orc player's looking for when you call the wall. It's just max efficiency. All your heavy hitters go in. You just swarm the board, take all the objectives. Your opponent has to dig themselves out. They can't afford to go after your units that are holding the objectives.
yeah,
Just
and
a
just
really good pressure army.
fully disrupt everything. Yeah. I love the idea of putting a big mech in there so that you just ignore the enemy models too.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm more prone to the pain boy.
yeah.
I see most people like the mech, and I understand it. Your how you play around that unit is cage them. But
Mhm.
I am a believer that the change to commandos can kind of protect that. Having
Yeah.
2 units of
Good point.
infiltrate that don't, and I like the durability, but I do totally agree with people that take the mech. I can get on board with that. I'm on the fence. I'm not
Mhm.
just 100% take the pain boy. Half of me is like, do I take the mech? So yeah, both good options.
Yeah, 20-man Feel No Pain is a hell of a drug. As I discovered
Yeah,
with Icon Wards and Neophytes, it just feels good. Just to be
yeah.
like, how many guns do you have? That's not enough. You know?
Yep, and then you
Like,
get, D3 dudes back once a game, which comes up a lot.
yeah, that is pretty good. All right, let's get to the next one. We have Space Marines of all flavors and varieties. What are you thinking?
Uh, Again, A tier,
Yeah,
mainly because of Ultramarines and because of Raven Guard.
yeah. As long as you can still take Gilliman and Calgar in the same list. They will be A tier. I'm placing them above Blood Angels and Black Templars.
Yes.
Um, honestly, let me ask you this: with the Raven Guard build that's existing and the Calgar Gilman builds we've seen, would you put them above Death Guard?
Yes, 100%. I
Yeah,
think so.
I think so too.
I think Death Guard just don't have enough units, and when Raven Guard has their go turn, it
Yep.
just comes down and deletes 3 to 4 units. Centurions pop a unit. Centurions, I think, could split fire and kill 2 blow drones,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yep. They're that good.
Um,
Death and then the Death Shrouds don't want to see them either. They have
yep,
such range that you're not going to get to them. You know?
yep, and Inceptors just shred them.
Yeah.
And Death Guard, after the first turn or two, after they lose their screens, Poxwalkers and such, they just start to have a hard time.
Yeah. I'm right there. I think their builds are really good. I really like the Raven Guard stuff. It gets even better if it gets the +1 to wound.
Yeah, which I believe they ruled that you will get it for Worlds, which is just,
Yeah.
and if
Which
GW is ruling it that way, then we know a lot of people will follow. So
yeah, and I had the vision like 6 months ago. I was like, hear me out, Raven Guard. Um, you do the Centurions, you have Vindicators and Scepters, and then you do Inferno Pistols on the Strike unit. I was so high on that then, and I feel so relieved to see people doing the Inferno Pistols now. I think that those are the right play over the Stormfields.
yeah, I have an interesting build too that I'm needs testing with
Hmm.
no Centurions, but Max and Scepters
Yeah,
and a third unit of Van Vets
interesting, interesting.
that infiltrates in the
Yeah,
middle. So
so you have one
uh,
infiltrate, and then you have one ingressing. That's so much pressure. Turn one.
yeah, well, you have two ingressing because turn one ingress one, turn two ingress the other,
Yeah.
and also turn one you have the one that infiltrated. So just and then 3 units of Inceptors,
Oof.
max units, which is just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
The list has options. Not saying I think that variant is better than having Centurions, but definitely worth testing. So
Yeah. I think you'll run into AP issues. So I'm curious to see how it does. But
yeah,
then we have Space Wolves.
another A tier. We have a lot. So let's just clarify. We have a
Yeah.
lot of A tiers because the meta currently has a lot of good armies that deserve to be there. I
Yeah.
think.
I'm with you. I think I put them below Orcs and Necrons. I don't know. They just do a lot of damage, is my thing with them, right? Like they have some interesting stuff in the was it Saga of the Beast Slayer detachment, is that what it's called? With the reactive move and the blood surge.
I think you take Stormlance with them.
Yeah.
Um, I honestly think they're above Orcs. The Storm Raven build is nasty
Oh,
in
okay.
Stormlance.
Say less,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Ugh, I hate when the Storm Raven is good. I just
yes,
we
it's
played against it so much that I'm just like I don't want to see those wings peeking out over terrain ever again.
yeah, exactly.
um but yeah, so below Black Templars and Blood Angels, above Orcs, Necrons, Grey Knights, they do have some interesting stuff going on there. There's so much killing power there. I like, and all the Space Wolf specific units are the units you want to be taking.
Yeah,
Um,
Ragnar with the what is it, Blood Claws? That unit
yep.
slaps. He just runs up the board,
Hmm.
claps cheeks, and deuces out.
Yep.
That's just a really good unit. That's Value Town. Just a solid army.
Oh yeah. Next we have Tau. They have a top 8 right now too at LVO. But you
They
play
do.
Tau. Where are you thinking they go?
Tau is an interesting one. The thing I always and I love my Tau. They're one of my favorite armies. I really wish GW would just write into the lore and give them a single melee unit, uh, a crisis suit unit that can hit in melee that has swords just like their commander.
But you
Like,
have the crew. Is that not a good melee option?
yeah, exactly. That's what we got. Yeah, we get crew units and we get Farsight if we want melee.
Yeah.
Still very solid though. The changes to Tau are huge. I honestly could make an argument for bottom towards the bottom of A or top of B. You're not saying a whole lot of people do insanely well, but they're still solid.
Yeah,
I honestly think that I could take down a major if I went with them.
I think so too.
When I feel that way, it's usually they're in a good spot, and
Yeah,
they had not been there before the slate. I did
yeah.
not feel that way.
I think
Um,
they're top of
yeah,
B with what you're saying.
yeah, that I would be fine with that. Top of B for them.
They can crumple a little bit when there's a ton of pressure and all the things get touched. Like personally, I've looked at them for the Kroot builds. I think the Kroot builds are probably really good right now. Because the Riptides are just they have the right profiles for the meta right now.
Yeah,
Um, so I've thought about doing the Kroot. Just taking a lot of bodies that move, just get up the board, and then you have the Tau shooting behind it versus like the Crutox builds that we've seen.
yeah. I think they're top of B with upside.
Yeah, I think there's a
So
lot of expression there in how you build the list and what detachment you're taking.
yeah.
But they have a lot of options right now. It's really interesting. Next up we have Thousand Suns. They got hit really hard.
Yes. I think they're probably going down to D tier.
You think so? Yeah.
They had a top guy at LVO. That's not real. That's
Yeah,
um,
you don't like the
uh,
30 rubric terminators? You don't think
I,
that's a
I like the list. I do, but I
yeah,
think you run into the wrong matchups, and it just gets really hard. Just their army rule working the way it's working now, and just the points of the army, and I just never like when your army only has 8 to 9 units, like his build.
yeah,
You have one or two activations that go wrong, and you lose one too many Terminators, and all of a sudden you're operating with just not enough stuff.
yeah. I
Um,
agree.
it's D tier or bottom of C.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Um, it's tough. Like I think about like where do you go with their builds now? You know, like I've looked at them to try and like do something really unconventional. I want to play their demon attachment. 'Cause I think it has melee answers there, but it's still just like you struggle for where the damage is coming from.
Yeah,
So if you look at like a pure damage attachment, like their vehicle one is interesting. I haven't seen people play it, but then you're just like at the whim of whole spam. Um, and
like what did they change their army rule? They get what, one chance now to
one
do the
chance.
spell?
Yep. So if you don't
Yeah,
get it, you don't get it. And
yeah.
that is tough for an army that everything is pointed around the ability to be 2 AP higher and 4 rerolls to hit.
Yeah, I think it was unnecessary how hard they hit them. I think that was a problem that could have been fixed with points.
Yeah.
If they would have just left the army roll alone and hit them with the points they hit them with, the army would still be really good. It
Yeah.
would have ended up in B tier probably.
I agree.
But the fact that they did the trifecta, I think it puts them bottom of C or top of D,
Yeah.
whichever you prefer.
And they weren't really tearing up the meta beforehand. You know, that's what like kills me about it is they weren't like being oppressive or anything. They were nowhere near what Death Guard was or Knights, and they got hit way harder than
They,
anyone else.
yeah, they just had some interactions that felt oppressive, but it took a top player to really get that out of there, like Brian Siep and
Yeah.
some other top players. But yeah, it's where they're at.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have Tyranids.
Oof, Tyranids. That's such a hard one to rate because where they're good, they're really good, and where they're bad, they fall on their face. I think. I still think they're actually really solid. I think B tier is where they end up.
You think so?
I think they have some good builds.
But like,
Now,
would I put
yeah,
them over Custodes is a question because Custodes we haven't seen, and I'm like, I don't know if I'd rather take Tyranids over Custodes.
I would rather take Tyranids over Custodes
Hmm.
because Exocrine is still a data sheet that exists, and the Biowars. I think at Champions Cup, Ryan Verbeck, who's
Yeah.
also one of our skewed players on TTS, I think he was one of the top individual players at the event with
Hmm.
NIDS. He was running Nexus, Synaptic Nexus.
Interesting.
He had like the 6-man zone throw and like Raveners. I think with a top player, the army can really do well.
Okay.
I actually believe that.
All right, you're selling me. You're selling me a little bit to move to bottom B.
I don't even know about bottom of B. I would say middle of B probably.
So we're thinking over. I don't know. I don't think I'd put them over GSC. But I can put them
That's the
over.
I don't know. I think they can play into GSE though.
They
They
can.
have like Vanguard Nids is hard for GSE.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's like they have so many different builds. It's tough. I won't put them over Knights. I just don't think that's a really good matchup for them at all. So I feel like once you get
That's
to
a tough
Knights,
one. I
um,
yeah, it's a coin toss. It's either above or below GSC. Since you are our GSC guy, I will be okay with you putting them below
yeah,
GSC.
I did play into Nids with GSC at LSO, and he was on Subterranean Assault,
Okay.
and we had no issue. I had no issue with that. Like it was just like, oh, your Trigon came down and he's gone. Oh, the zone throps came and they blasted a 20 man, I guess. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
charge them with a Ridge Runner and we'll be there all game.
Yeah. That was also old host though, before the nerfs. So
It was, but I mean, I don't think that matchup changes that much.
yeah.
Because like his only shooting was capable of picking up a unit, so like there's no like grind down 20 mans. Like I think that plays essentially the same, if not
Yeah.
better, for the same GSC list that cannot play anywhere else. You know.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, we'll put them right below GSC.
Okay,
And
and then we have our last one is World Eaters.
A tier,
Yeah,
100%.
for sure. I think the only
I think,
question is, are we putting them above the Blood Angels, Black Templar, Space Wolves?
yeah, they're going right below Admech and Eldari, I
Eldari.
think. They
Yeah.
could potentially be above Eldari, I think.
Yeah, I honestly I think I'm okay putting them above Eldari. I think the Berserker I think that because that is a tough matchup for Eldari. When you bring 50 Berserkers, like they
Yeah.
don't have an answer for that.
I think they only had one weakness, which was like Knights, Chaos Knights, big stuff,
Yep.
and that got sewed up with the data slate to Exalted 8-bound.
Yeah.
And that one weakness is now sewed up. So they have Forge Fiends for shooting. They have units that can kill big stuff. They shred infantry. They're just an all rounder. You could make an argument to put them above AdMech. But yeah, I would say either put them above AdMech or right below, in my opinion.
Yeah. I got them. They're up there for sure.
Okay.
That's like one of the scarier armies because like the amount of jank you can pull off with a 20-man Berserker unit with 6-inch fight and pile is obnoxious.
No,
It's
yeah,
it is so dumb.
they're one of those armies that no one's happy to see. Oh crap! I drew World Eaters this round. You're never happy when you see that's what you're playing,
Yeah,
regardless of the player. You're like, damn, this is gonna be a fight.
yeah. And
So
they're an army that will literally just use your screen to catapult into the rest of your army that's like 12 inches behind your screen. You know,
yeah,
like it is insane what you can do with the movement from advance and charge and then a charge and then you get your 6-inch fight and pile and fight on death. There's just and then you have a blood surge. Like the berserkers present like existential problems for a lot of armies to the point where if I was building the list, I think I would have as many as possible. Like to a
I
point,
agree with
I
that.
think 50 to like 70 is a really good number to have. Um, and just let them run wild. Just push in.
Yeah,
They're OC2 bodies. They blood surge. You can probably deep strike one of them with the character, right? So you just push. And honestly, like I don't think the damage will be that different for them than it would be for like 8-bound into big stuff when you have that many. So
yeah. I think that's the GSE coming out of you. You're like, just run 50 or 60, and we're call it good. You're like,
I'm like, how many neophytes did I have? That's how many berserkers you need to have, right? Like
yeah,
that's that is the critical mass, especially being like 3 up 2 wound bodies. Oh, it is so nasty to deal with when like someone is playing it correctly.
yeah.
They're
I
one of
think
my
yeah.
nightmares. Yeah.
I think for teams, yeah, like having at least one 20-man, if not two, is just really good for throwing the matrix off
Yes.
for the opponent. They're just in a good spot. Like so many builds, you can go mass berserks, you can go more. combined arms, just with the small units that go in rhinos. Um, yeah, just great spot.
Yeah, I think there's a team comp out there that has World Eaters, Space Wolves, and Orcs that just say we're throwing 20-man blobs at you over and over
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
and that would just destroy pairings for a lot of teams.
yeah.
Um,
You right now, I think like if you're a top team, you want to build at least 2 to 3 like melee pressure armies. I think is
mhm.
always good. Because those are going to be your big scores. Those are going to push high diff. And it's just always good to have.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean this looks pretty good as far as like tiers go. We have a lot in A, and it's a good sign for the game when there's a lot of factions concentrated in two levels and they're not the bottom two, you know?
Yeah, when you don't have very many in D tier or below, that's what you don't like to see. A lot of armies that are just struggling, sitting in D. Not too many in C, and a lot in A and B. Really, what you want to see is 0 in S tier,
Yeah.
and you want to see a good amount in A and B. I think. It's just one of those things. Armies, GW's been pretty good about buffing or nerfing armies. So if an army ends up in D or lower, GW comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to help this army out and bring them back where they need to be,"
Yep.
which is great. We know years ago GW did not have that input, and the game was in disarray. So great to see that GW has really stepped it up. I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think the game's in a really good spot right now. I don't think Jakari getting released is going to shake that up that wildly at all. Um, and I will say, like, it feels like they kind of found their groove in the book writing. I mean, like one tweak to the Knights book, kind of cleaned it up. The Jakari book is extremely like well written in the case in like the circumstances of like interactions and how they could like people could like find loopholes and things like that. So I think they really found their like groove in the rules writing to kind of tighten up some of the issues that we saw in like the really powerful books at the start of the edition.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I think there's a lot of interesting builds out there. I think that the player skill expression is able to happen now more than ever. So I think that is really good sign for the game. Um, so I'm interested to see like what people are going to be coming up with.
Yeah, it's going to be really good this next couple months.
Mhm.
Just seeing like the different Drakari builds, seeing the different Raven Guard builds, Orc builds, Admech builds, just all the stuff, just seeing how it plays out. Tau's another one. I'm just really excited, and that's a good place to be when you're excited, as opposed to like on release Eldar for 10th edition, where everyone is just like, I don't know if I want to play the game
Yeah,
until it gets fixed.
yeah, and I
So
know Death Guard and the Night meta we just had people feeling a similar way, um, but I think that the meta is kind of flattened a bit to the point where like skill expression, the player is going to matter a lot more. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. What are you most interested in playing next?
I'm in Army Spiral right now because there's so many options. Like to be honest, like if I show you how many lists I've made for every faction, like I have like 4 Raven Guard builds, 4 Orc builds, 4 Tau builds.
Yeah.
Uh, I even have some Drakari builds. I mean, I'm just all over the place, man.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
Definitely Jakari. I'm in like trying the new codex a ton. I'm only in the witch detachment right now, so I need to go try out some of the other stuff. Like I want to play Cabalite Cartel. I want to play Real Space Raiders. I think that one is interesting. And then also Reaper's Wager, of course. And then I will always have love for my GSC. I want to play that. I've also looked at demons, like playing a little scintillating legion, the Zinch demon detachment. I want to look at that. It's got some fun stuff in it.
Yeah,
I'm all over the place, but again, it's that's where the game is right now.
yeah,
So it feels like it's a good spot.
yeah. No, I agree. Got to play that witch detachment, man. You got your combat drugs back,
I
brother.
know it's so fun. I messed up my combat
Woo!
drugs just yesterday. I took my first loss on the detachment um, to Emperor's Children because he was able to like keep an Exultant alive, and that was
Oh
like the
no.
game. It got him down to one wound. I was like, oh,
No.
it was 5 Hellions. I should have cleaned it up, but I rolled. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm good with like all but one of the drugs. Let me just roll instead of choosing. I should have chosen like weapon skill or attacks. I rolled and got uh leadership and ballistic skill, and then I got movement. I was like, damn, there's no killing here. I needed something to kill.
Yeah,
Um
you got greedy and then you're like
yeah, I was like in my head, I'm like, I could get both weapon skill and strength, you know? Like it was just like talking to me like that.
Yeah.
So there was that and a couple other moments and some key mistakes, but the detachment is a lot of fun. And I
Yeah.
want to try some other stuff in the book as well.
Yeah. No, that's I'm excited for you, man.
Yeah.
I think you got some of the best stuff. You kind of forced off of host, which is probably was good for you.
Yeah.
Good for your mental health to get off of that host for a little while.
I did enjoy. I was playing I loved the 20 mans and
Yeah.
the rapping, and even my final day list, I have my a 20 man in there with the Benefactus, so I can get a little host light, you know, a little
Yeah.
Benefactus with sustained dropping
Give
in.
your back a break though, not moving all those models around.
Yeah. But I have fun with my little rats. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's it for us in the tier list. Let us know where you agree, disagree, different builds you're seeing for these armies, what you're taking to your next event. As we're both willing to play and try against everything, so we'll
Yeah.
definitely look at those things.
Yeah, and make sure y'all like and subscribe. Give us any feedback. We appreciate it. We're
Yeah,
still new to this, but we just want to make content for you guys and just talk about stuff that we see and that we like. Um, yeah, man, we're excited to produce more content. It's
yeah,
me, Kit, and Dom. We're just doing this thing. We'll have more guests on in the future. And um, shout out to the Tundra guys, Kevin Grubbs.
oh yeah.
And yeah,
We'll be
man.
talking about all sorts of things as far as comp, 40K, and hobby and stuff. So we're excited for that. But for
Yeah.
now, everyone take care. I'll see you next time.
Bye bye.